Orm leaned against the kitchen counter, lazily swirling a spoon in her coffee as she watched Ling across the room, crouched in front of the refrigerator with a furrowed brow. Ling's hair was tucked into a low bun today, a few strands loose around her face in a way that Orm found distractingly cute. She cleared her throat, then pushed off the counter, taking a slow step forward. "You know," Orm began, letting her voice drop an octave, "you really shouldn't bend over in front of your wife like that unless you want me to look at your ass." Ling turned her head and blinked. I was just checking if we still have yogurt." Orm's flirty smirk faltered. "That was... never mind." She crossed her arms, already regretting trying. Ling stood up, a container of yogurt in hand. "Do you want the strawberry one?" Orm opened her mouth, then closed it. "Sure," she muttered, accepting the offering with a sigh. Her brother Win strolled in at that moment, yawning and stretching. "Wow," he said, glancing between the two women. "Was that another failed seduction attempt?" Orm groaned. "Shut up, Tun." "I'm just saying," Ton continued, grabbing an apple from the fruit bowl. "You've got the finesse of a soap opera extra." Ling looked confused. "Wait, was that flirting?" Ton threw his head back and laughed. "Oh my God, you didn't even notice?" Orm's face turned red. "I hate both of you." Ling looked apologetic. "I'm sorry, I thought you were annoyed about the yogurt." "You know what?" Orm said, grabbing her coffee. "I'm going to go upstairs and pretend I married someone with at least half a clue." Ton called after her. "She's a bigger loser than you, Orm. It's actually kind of impressive." Orm flipped him off without turning around. Ling looked after her, then turned to Win. "She's been acting differently lately." Ton leaned against the counter, biting into his apple. "Yeah, that's called flirting. Try keeping up." Ling blinked. "Oh, so she was trying to come on to me?" "Ling," Ton said, chewing slowly. "You're married. Try paying attention." Ling stood still for a moment, clearly processing. "You really think I'm a bigger loser?" she muttered, brows furrowed. Ton shrugged. "I say it with love, mostly." Orm, upstairs, was already pacing her bedroom. Her plan to get Ling's attention was a disaster. She tugged at the hem of her tank top, feeling like an idiot. Did she really have to spell it out for her wife? Then again, maybe she did. Ling wasn't exactly the queen of social cues. Downstairs, Ling stared at the yogurt container as if it held the answer to Orm's entire personality. "Strawberry is romantic, right?" she mumbled. Ton groaned. "Oh my God, just kiss her." Orm stood in front of the full-length mirror, turning slightly to examine herself from every angle. The soft silk of the champagne-colored dress hugged her waist and flared just enough at the hips. It had a plunging neckline that exposed just the right amount of cleavage and a slit running up the side that revealed a teasing flash of her thigh with every step. Her blonde hair was curled loosely, falling like waves over her shoulders. She smirked at her reflection. "Let's see Ling ignore this." Her mom peeked into the room, eyes widening when she saw Orm. "You look very mature." Orm raised a brow. "Mature? Sexy." "I meant sexy," her mom corrected, flustered. "Are you sure you want to wear that to your brother's birthday party?" "It's his garden party, not a temple visit," Orm said, turning around to apply her lipstick. "Besides, he'll be too busy getting drunk to care." Her brother Ton burst in without knocking. "You're going to make half the guests pass out, sis. That slit is illegal in 7 countries. Orm rolled her eyes. "Good. Let them stare." She strutted downstairs, heels clicking against the wood with confidence. The backyard was already filling with guests, a mix of family friends, business acquaintances, and freeloaders attracted to free food and fancy setups. String lights crisscrossed overhead, and the buffet table overflowed with delicacies. A jazz trio played softly in the background. Orm made an entrance. People turned. Heads subtly followed her path. A group of her brother's friends whispered, clearly impressed. Ling, standing near the refreshment table with a glass of iced tea, froze mid-sip. Her wife's jaw tightened, eyes narrowed. Orm smirked. She made her way toward Ling slowly, letting the dress do all the talking. When she reached her, she leaned in, lips brushing Ling's ear. "Like what you see?" Ling didn't answer immediately. Her eyes roamed down Orm's body, then snapped back up to meet hers. "That dress is a lot," Ling said quietly. "You didn't say that when you saw the price tag." "I didn't see the slit," Ling muttered. "You didn't look hard enough." Ling grabbed her arm gently but firmly and pulled her a step closer. "Everyone is staring." Orm tilted her head. "Good." Ling's eyes darkened. "Go change." Orm blinked, then chuckled. "You don't get to tell me what to wear." A flash of something possessive flickered in Ling's gaze. "You're my wife." "And this," Orm whispered, "is your problem." Ling was about to respond, but Orm had already walked off, hips swaying with confidence, leaving her wife glaring after her. Across the garden, Win passed with a beer in hand, muttering under his breath, "This is going to be a long night." Orm had barely reached the dessert table when a tall man in a sleek navy blazer stepped into her path. He had the kind of confidence that usually irritated her: easy smile, sparkling teeth, a self-assuredness that screamed investment banking or serial dating. She vaguely recognized him from one of Ling's company photos. "Excuse me?" he said, with a voice that was all charm. "But I have to ask, are you part of the decoration, or just trying to steal the spotlight?" Orm gave him a tight smile. "Is that your best line?" "I have better ones," he said, laughing. "I'm Kit. I work with Ling." "Ah," she said, tone cooling. "One of her colleagues." He glanced over her outfit, his gaze lingering. "I would have remembered if she mentioned she had a wife like you." Orm's eyebrow twitched. "She doesn't talk about me at work?" "Not much," he said, stepping a little closer. "But if I knew she had someone this stunning waiting at home, I'd have left the office earlier." Orm opened her mouth to deliver a cutting remark, but before she could, a voice sliced through the air like a warning bell. "She does." They both turned. Ling stood just a few steps away, her eyes locked on Kit with a polite smile that didn't reach her eyes. Kit cleared his throat. "Hey, Ling, I didn't realize—" Ling stepped beside Orm and placed a possessive hand around her waist. Her tone didn't change, but her grip was firm. "This is my wife," Ling said clearly, her voice low and even. "She's very taken." Orm tried not to smirk. Kit raised his hands, backing off slightly. "Of course, my apologies." He disappeared into the crowd a little too quickly. Ling didn't remove her hand from Orm's waist. "Was he bothering you?" Orm leaned in. "A little, but I was handling it." "I saw." Orm turned her head, amused. "You got a little territorial there. I don't like when people flirt with what's mine." Orm's breath caught for half a second. She tried to play it off with a laugh. "You say that like I'm a car." "No," Ling said, eyes serious. "More like something I'd kill to protect." Orm blinked, unsure how to respond. Ling let her hand slide off her waist, but lingered just a moment too long. Then she nodded toward the drinks table. "Want something?" Orm nodded, watching her go. Her heart was beating a little faster now. From across the garden, her brother watched them and nudged their mother. "See? I told you. Ling's going to snap and drag her inside any minute." Their mother sipped her wine and hummed. "She should. Orm's practically begging for it in that dress." Orm, meanwhile, tried to shake off the strange warmth in her chest. She hadn't expected Ling to say it like that. "My wife," with so much certainty, and even though she hated to admit it, it felt good. The second Ling saw Kit melt back into the crowd, she turned to Orm with a look that could curdle cream. She didn't say anything at first, just stared at her with tightly drawn lips and storm clouds in her eyes. Orm raised a brow. "Problem? You think that was funny?" Ling's voice was quiet but sharp. Orm crossed her arms, unbothered. "What? That he flirted with me? I didn't flirt back." "You didn't stop him either." "I didn't need to. You swooped in like a jealous boyfriend in a drama series?" Ling clenched her jaw, then grabbed Orm's hand, not harshly but firmly, and pulled her toward the house. "Where are we going?" Orm asked, glancing around as guests pretended not to watch them leave. "To talk," Ling snapped. They stepped into the hallway, out of earshot. Ling turned on her the second the door closed behind them. "That dress," Ling started, pacing. "You wore that on purpose." "Of course I did," Orm replied coolly. "To look good, to get attention, maybe even yours if you'd take a hint." Ling halted mid-pace. "What?" Orm stepped forward, voice rising. "I've been trying for weeks, Ling, to get a reaction out of you, a kiss that isn't robotic, a look that lasts more than 2 seconds. But apparently, you only react when another woman is involved, or when some guy flirts with me." Ling stared at her, stunned. "I get it, okay?" Orm continued. "This is a business arrangement, but you could at least act like I'm not just your tax write-off." "That's not fair," Ling said, her voice lower now. "What's not fair," Orm hissed, "is me walking around like a walking thirst trap in front of people I don't even like just to get you to notice me." "I noticed," Ling said, stepping closer. "I noticed the second you came down the stairs. I just didn't say anything because if I did, I wouldn't have been able to stop myself." Orm faltered. "Stop yourself from what?" Ling's eyes darkened. "From doing this." Before Orm could blink, Ling scooped her up bridal style. Orm let out a small squeak, smacking her lightly on the shoulder. "Ling, what are you—" Ling didn't respond. She was already storming through the hallway, up the staircase. Orm's fists beat uselessly at her chest. "You're insane." "You wanted a reaction," Ling muttered. "You're getting one." They reached the upstairs hallway. Ling kicked open the bedroom door, stepped inside, and set Orm down on the edge of the bed. Orm caught her breath, cheeks flushed. "You could have just said something instead of carrying me like a caveman." Ling leaned down, her hands braced on either side of Orm's thighs. "Would you have listened?" Orm opened her mouth, but no words came. Downstairs, Orm's mother took a sip of wine and glanced at Win. "Did Ling just carry her upstairs?" Tan nodded slowly. "Yup," the mother hummed. "Finally." Ling didn't wait for Orm to catch her breath. As soon as she was seated, Ling pushed her back gently, but with purpose, until she was sprawled across the bed. Then, with one firm motion, she flipped her over and guided her onto all fours. Orm's breath hitched, her cheek pressed to the sheets, her blonde hair spilling around her face. She could feel the tension in the air, thick with frustration and something darker. Need. "Ling," she whispered, but it came out more like a whimper. Ling's hands trailed down her back slowly, deliberately. "You want attention?" she murmured, voice low and dominant. "You've got it." Orm gasped as Ling's palm landed firmly on her ass, not hard enough to hurt, but enough to make her squirm. "Teasing me in that dress," Ling growled, fingers sliding beneath the hem, dragging it up. "Flirting with other people? What were you trying to prove?" Orm arched back into her touch, her voice breathy. "That I could get you to touch me like this." Ling chuckled, dark and pleased. "Brat." Orm flinched when Ling's fingers slid along her inner thighs, feather-light at first, then firmer, more deliberate. Ling tugged her underwear down and off, exposing her completely. "Look at you," Ling murmured. "So wet, all that sass, and this is how your body really feels." Orm buried her face in the sheets. Ling leaned forward, her chest pressing to Orm's back, lips grazing her ear. "Keep that ass up for me," Orm whimpered, obeying. Ling sat back, trailing her fingers teasingly over Orm's folds, then dipped one inside. Orm cried out. "One," Ling whispered, "and already so tight." She pushed a second finger in without pause. Orm gripped the sheets, her legs trembling. Then a third. Orm gasped, her knees nearly giving out. "It hurts," she whimpered. Ling kissed the back of her neck. "You'll take it, like a good girl." Her rhythm was punishing but addictive, stretching Orm, overwhelming her with the pressure and fullness. Ling's thumb found Orm's clit, circling it slowly, deliberately, keeping her right on the edge. Orm's moans were muffled by the sheets. She was trembling, head down, ass high, completely at Ling's mercy. "You begged for this the second you walked downstairs," Ling murmured. "I was going to wait, be patient. But you pushed me." Orm could barely speak. Her mouth hung open, gasping as pleasure and pain blurred into one aching sensation. "I love fucking you like this," Ling said, voice ragged. "You pretend to be in control, but you're not. Not when I have you like this." Orm let out a strangled moan as her orgasm hit, blinding, intense, and hot. Her body shook violently, legs collapsing beneath her. Ling held her through it, not stopping until Orm slumped to the bed, dazed and spent. She leaned down, kissed Orm's spine. "Now, maybe you'll behave." Orm managed a soft laugh. "Not a chance." Downstairs, Ton paused mid-sip and smirked. "Yep, they definitely made up." Part 6. Mothers Overhear and Joke. Downstairs, the soft clinking of cutlery and murmured conversation carried on beneath the soft glow of garden lights. The party had thinned out slightly, guests now relaxed and a little tipsy. Orm's mother sat with Ling's mother at a small table under the canopy, sipping from her wineglass with a knowing look. "I think they disappeared," Orm's mom said, pretending to study the drink in her hand. Ling's mother raised a brow. "Upstairs? Where else would they be?" She took another sip, then added dryly, "Did you see the way Ling picked her up? Like she was hauling a sack of rice. A very expensive, bratty sack of rice." Ling's mom laughed softly. "She gets that from her father's side of the family. No subtlety." Orm's mom grinned. "Mine doesn't know how to flirt. She tried to seduce Ling by commenting on her fridge posture." "She what?" "She told her she shouldn't bend over unless something about her behind." Ling's mom choked on her wine. "And how did Ling respond?" Orm's mom rolled her eyes. She offered her strawberry yogurt. They both erupted into quiet giggles, drawing curious glances from a nearby guest. Ton walked past them with a plate full of cake. "You two laughing about the newlyweds?" "They're not exactly subtle," Orm's mom said. Orm stormed off upstairs. Ling followed, looking like she was ready to devour her whole. Ton added, stabbing his fork into the cake. "If they don't come back down glowing, I'll be disappointed." "Let's give them a minute," Ling's mother said, dabbing at her eyes with a napkin, still chuckling. Just then, from the upper floor, a muffled sound carried down. At first faint, then unmistakable. Moaning. Orm's mother blinked. "Oh my." Ling's mom sipped her wine. "That's definitely Orm." Orm's mom pressed her lips together, trying not to laugh. "Do we stop them?" "What are we, hall monitors?" Ling's mom shook her head. "Let them be. At least they're finally acting like a real couple." Ton shook his head. "Honestly, I'm just impressed it took this long. You put two women with that much tension in one house and no one's bleeding or pregnant yet? That's restraint." "Do not say that at the dinner table," his mother warned, lightly smacking his arm. The moans stopped. A few seconds later, footsteps padded across the upstairs floor. Orm's mom leaned back with a sigh. "Well, that's one way to end a party." "Think they'll come down?" Ling's mother asked. "If Orm can walk." They burst into laughter again. Ton grinned as he looked up toward the darkened window. "Yep, all's well in paradise." Meanwhile, upstairs, Orm lay sprawled across the bed, dazed and glowing. Ling tucked the sheets around her, brushing damp hair from her forehead. "You okay?" Ling asked softly. Orm just mumbled something incoherent and buried her face in the pillow. Ling smiled. "I'll take that as a yes."